My name is Cheri Hunt. I'm the art teacher here at LivingWell Cancer Resource Center, and today we are doing my most favorite, gelatin printing. Jelly printing is a printing without a press, and I took a walk in the garden today and I got some flowers. We can print with those. You can also at home, if you pull out your kitchen drawers, you can pull out mashed potato, garlic press masher, all of those things that you can print with, a comb, a fork. If you go to the store and get a bag of lemons, save this, you can print this. This is actually a placemat from Crate and Barrel. I just quartered it. Valentine's Day passed, but yes, I saved a doily from that you can print with. Everything has texture. If you are a stamper or a scrapbooker, you might have stamps at home. You can do a little collage of that. I know some of us in our junk drawer have keys. You could stamp with, print with keys. There's some gears that you could do. There's even wooden keys, all sorts of things to make a collage with. If you have a die or cry cut at home, you can cut out different shapes to do. And then of course there are stencils that you can purchase online. Michael's, Joann's has great stencils. Or if you're at Goodwill, you can look for things that you can print with. This is a napkin holder. I can print with this. And this was actually also in the framed area of Goodwill. I ripped off everything in the back and you can print with this. So let's get started. I'm working with a gelatin print that is not disposable. I actually bought it at Blick Art. They come in different sizes, from small, like an index card size, to rounds to rectangles. This is one that can be washed off with soap and water, or it can be washed off just with baby wipes in between each. We're gonna use acrylic paint. I've got my favorite color, Payne's Gray, and we're also going to need a roller, whether it's just a sponge roller at home or a brayer that you might have in your art box. So I'm actually gonna use just one color right now. Payne's Gray, like I said, is my favorite. I'm gonna just use some botanicals from the garden, and you're just using a little bit. The paint, you don't wanna squeeze it like a toothpaste tube. That would be too much. Less is more with the paint. You could use any kind, tempera, acrylic, pretty much anything that we have at home right now, I think is gonna work. You want to make it so it's almost like an ice skating rink, I tell my participants. And also when I'm pressing the brayer, I don't want these lines because that will also print. So I'm really lightly just pressing the paint all around, making sure it gets in the corners, really covering it. And it's almost gonna look like an ice skating rink where it's just, you could almost see the leaves or something underneath, just no big clumps of paint. Real important with that, okay? So I'm gonna take a couple things that I took from my garden. Again, I like to use some herbs. So we've got salvia, I've got some lamb's ears here, anything here's a little fern I can use. And when I'm printing, I wanna make sure that my vein sides are down. So I'm gonna always just press it down. If my leaves aren't flat, I'm not gonna do this because then you'll get your hand in it. I'm gonna use a little yarrow. Love yarrow. I've got Russian sage for a good smell once that gets printed. Got some lemon balm. And again, I'm going to kind of place my leaves so the leaves are flat and really kind of collage it in there so you don't have any empty space. I've got a hydrangea leaf here that I'm just going to kind of, oh, here's a good one actually. And some more salvia. I might just do this first. Okay, so then you're gonna always want a little stack of paper next to you. Like I said, these are, flat, but not flat, but you don't wanna press it down. You'll just take a piece of paper. You'll hold with one hand, pressing kind of flat. You don't wanna use your fingernails because those will show up underneath. Anything that is bumpy, you wanna make sure that you kind of go all the way around if it has petals, and making sure that it's a nice firm press, okay? You're gonna pick that up. I can pick this up a little bit and see that I might need to go back and pick some of this. I wanna really get just my botanicals showing. So you don't wanna move the things around too much, but you're just going back and picking out some of these areas that might have a little bit of paint left. I'm then going to pick up my leaves. I'm going to put them over here, just put them to the side. Oh my gosh, this is when we get so excited. And look at, even some of my salvia fell. I can leave that and it would then press a negative space, a white area, or I can pick it off with just a little tweezer. I'm going to show you what it looks like by leaving it on there. And at this point too, I could even take, if there is a little bit of blue, I can take something that is a little bit hard to press with paper, and I can put my fingers and just kind of press that with my fingers, not getting any fingerprints at the time. Really pressing nice. Okay, so this is where I'm going to take a piece of paper. Nice flat hand. Real important not to use your fingernails at this point because they will scratch and show up like a little cat scratch fever there, so we don't want that. We're going to give ourselves a drum roll because this is going to be exciting. This is our first print. Okay, so this area here where the white is, that's where the flowers were. If I took those off, you would have the print of the flowers. It's nice to have a little white space for journaling. Like this, I might make it into a little heart or something like that, the heart of the garden. You're gonna also have another print, which is called the ghost print. At this time, it's cleaning off your plate pretty much. I'm gonna just take these guys, lift them off. But this is the, so you'll press down, you'll print, and then you'll do a ghost print is what they call it. This just cleans off your plate. After this, you'll take a baby wipe and then clean off. This is nice too. It's the same one, but it shows you the exact same. It's almost like a negative of it. Really nice. That's why it's important not to have too much paint, because you can really see all your details, the fern and the veins of, and the petals. Really nice. So then I'm just gonna take a baby wipe and wipe it off. I don't need to run to the sink each time. If you just have a stack of these, or even just a wet paper towel works. Sometimes I don't clean my brayer if I have a couple of them. If I don't clean it and I'm using yellow, it's gonna make it brown because of this color. Or if you really want your colors, you wanna clean it each time to get your bright colors. I'm gonna show a little color now and using some different types of texture. So we've got magenta, which I'm really into right now, which is great, a little bit. And I'm using 3 colors, so you don't need a lot of one, just like we did the Payne's Gray. You'll need a little bit more if you're using a single color. I'm gonna mix a little teal. If you use your primaries with this, you'll get 6 colors, which is kind of fun. So these 2 colors are gonna make kind of a lavender. And then I'm also gonna use maybe a little yellow. Oops. With this, a nice spring color. Perfect. Ooh, it just makes your heart jump with joy with all these fun colors. Ooh, I've made orange. I've got a good green in there. And you know, there's no print that's ever the same because it's really, you know, they just never turn out the same. So it's hard to keep doing the same. But that's the fun of it, the wonder of what's gonna happen next. I love that. So like I said, you could use things from home. We've got bubble wrap. I wanna keep your brayers out of your way. I'm gonna put the flowers in here, get those out of the way. I can use a little bit of this guy. Let's see what else I have on this one. Right, and then I might use a ear and a key or something like that. Okay. So I can use this. I used this before for pressing down. I might just flip it over. I'm going to press everything down. I do have stencils, so I want to make sure that it gets picked up, the paint gets picked up in between those small spaces. Nice flat hand. I can always check again and go back into it a little bit. And sometimes when you overlap, you really want to make sure that, like this guy in here, is going to get nicely pressed and all the paint's going to get picked up because it's not going to reach it if it's overlapped. All right, so I'm going to pick this up. Oh my gosh, I love this. And you know, it's really fun too. If I have these things, I just put them aside. If I'm using a different color and now I've got these to put down, this color will show through. So I'll show you that in just a minute what I'm talking about. I'm gonna lift this up. I can use even some papers that I have from other times for gelatin prints. So I have a stack of those. Let's see, I could even use this that's got some things from it before, or I can use a sketchbook. This is what we were printing with the other day. I'm gonna go right into this. It's limitless, I love it. So I'm gonna pick that up, and I've got that there. So now I can journal around that. I can even go to the other side, so it's almost like a mirror in my sketchbook. You can print these, cut them up, use them for note cards. And so I can print right inside there. I can now do my ghost print. All on one. I might not get the whole thing, but if I want to do the whole page, I can do that. And I'm just gonna have a ghost print, which is really nice. Perfect. So if I took a walk in the garden, I could then journal about it. Was it a nice time? Was I with someone? What did I feel when I picked the flowers? Anything like that. It's really kind of a nice project. I'm going to show you a couple of the things here on a homemade plate that I have, and it's actually one of my participants made it. I'm going to give a shout out to Mary Ann. Thank you for doing that. She brought it in and gave it to us to use. So I'm going to put a little paint on here, and then I'm going to print with the items that I had at Goodwill, which is a lot of fun. I'm going to do this in Payne's Gray. And sometimes when you do a home jelly plate, the bubbles surface to the top, you could skim those off, and sometimes you like them. Actually, I had one that I made that I let refrigerate for 24 hours and the bubble was left there. I love circles, so I purposely kept the circle almost like an underwater. You could use an underwater and have those little bubbles. You can see the little bubbles on here. It almost looks like cantaloupe skin on the one that she made. So this is great. It almost looks like a texture of a basketball. When we print it, you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm gonna give a little bit more because I do have a bigger plate. Like I said, if you use too much paint, you can kiss it with another plate or just take it off with a little wax paper. You don't want to waste your paint, but you could always just put it aside when you do need it. I'm gonna get just a little bit more. Sorry about that. Sometimes it's hard to know how much you need for a big plate. All right. So textures all around. You could even do this outside with bricks, different things, rocks, all sorts of textures. So I'm gonna just take this. I love birds so much. And then I'm gonna take a piece of paper and I'm gonna go right in there and press all the way around. Make sure I get a nice clean print. Ooh, it almost looks like a dark night with the shadow of the bird. Love that. Perfect. One more little print. Pick up here. There we go. That's a good one. All right. Messy but fun. All right, so look at that. So now I could even add more texture to it if I wanted to put a little bloom on it. That's up to you if you want to take some of these leaves and add leaves for the tree branches. I'm just actually going to take a white piece of paper and just paint this. You could even, once this dries, after I print it, once it dries, you can doodle into it, add more prints, and I'll show you just a minute. I'll pull this off. So now I could even get a little bit of paint on this, uses this as a stamping, and start stamping and creating more of a collage with it. If I wanted to, I can take some of the leaves that have ink on it and press it down, put a little paper down, let's see, put a little paper down and press too from the paint that we had before. Let's see what, if we do that, what happens. Might be too dry, but just always using kind of what you have. So you'll give a little texture of the leaf, which is really nice. You can even use one of my ones that I had that was a little bit lighter from the ghost print and use this ghost print and put it right on there too and see. It's all about layering and just kind of pushing it a little bit. So now it looks like a little garden is right behind there. What a great page for a gardener's journal. I'm going to show you the table over here. I've got some examples of some leaves from the fall that I've done, and also couple participants did some great gelatin prints. Here is one that actually Linda did, so thanks Linda for that. This is one that is on the homemade gelatin print, and it's just wax paper. It gives a great texture of just cracking cement. I love. These are ones from the fall. Just the colors that you get and the layers. Oh my gosh, it's so awesome. These are done gelatin prints, but then you can also take a stamp with a rubber butterfly and do a little stamp right on top of it. Here's one right on a rock that you can do, which is great. So this is the printing pad that I was using, Jelly Arts. Like I said, you can get them at Blick Art, or at the end of this video, please watch it to the end, and I've given a recipe that you can make your own at home and print for life. Take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.